Greetings, Capsuleer. Destination has been set, and Sino is green. Get ready for Eve North. Active.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Reload and I am joined today by the Eve North crew. I'm joined by Ivy and I believe Tim from the Eve North. There he is. Tim, welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing okay, thanks. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being on our show today. And let's talk a little bit about the Eve Toronto meets. How did you come up with the whole thing?
Yeah, what would you like to know?
Well, how did you set up the actual meetup itself?
Well, many years ago, there had been other organizers, and I'd started coming out to the meets originally and then all of a sudden, the old organizers just stopped playing Eve and never warned anybody about their leaving. So I picked up. So I volunteered myself to start to revive the uh, meets, and I slowly started the meets again with posting in forums, talking about it when I got the chance in game, and word of mouth. The meets got bigger and everything. Then one of the really great things that happened is that Ivy eventually heard about the meet and came out and offered to help uh, grow the meet and help out. So I said, sure, let's get going. Let's get to starting growing the meat and everything. And I introduced her to CCP Guard and everything, and the rest, as they say, is history.
You didn't just introduce me to CCP Guard, you kind of sabotaged me. So, fun fact about me and Tim is, yes, we met at some of the local Eve meets in Toronto, and I had gone to my very first Fanfest over in Iceland, and, I was a new player and didn't really know much about Eve. I'm not going to lie. I just, on a whim, decided, hey, I'm gonna go to Iceland, and away I went. Met up with some corpies and ran into Tim from Toronto, and I was like, hey, Tim. He's like, oh, I've got this meeting to come to. I'm going to talk to some people about, Eve in Toronto. Can you come help me out? And I'm like, sure, whatever. So I followed Tim to this, corner hallway in the Harpa, and there is standing the shortest person I've ever met in my life. And they're like, yeah, this is CCP Guard. And I'm like thinking to myself, I have no clue who this guy is other than, I saw him presenting at the front. So I did my Toronto pitch, and then, I realized after the fact that I had probably met the largest person in the smallest shoes in the world. And I have all the respect and love for you, Guard. You have worked with us over the last 2 years, making little suggestions here, answering my emails, and just helping us grow. So with the support of, doing our pitch in Iceland of, hey, this is why CCP should come to Toronto, over the next course of a few months, we, back and forth. And we got the impression that, Toronto didn't really hold a chance in hell at ever hosting an event. And from there, I got an email from Tim when I was going to Vegas because, now I'm, around the Eve universe and wanting to do some stuff. And Guard sent me an email and he's like, are you in Vegas? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh. And I'm like, do you want me to come meet you? He's like, yes, come and meet me. And he said to me, so how do you feel about hosting an Eve North? And I'm like, what? Eve North. He's like, yeah, in Toronto next year, because the Harpa's under renovations. And then he made me go the entire weekend knowing this knowledge
How
and not
could
being
you?
able to say
How could you
anything.
not share that with anyone? That's amazing.
User was moved out of your channel.
Ivy, I think they can't hear me anymore. Hold on. Hold on. As usual, experiencing some difficulties. There we go. People can't hear me though. This is really weird. Ivy, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but when I can't hear you, yeah, I think you got a Twitch issue, my friend.
All right, then you keep talking. So you can hear me. So how did you go actually without being able to share that secret with anyone?
So, the fact that I had this knowledge all weekend, I think I walked around on cloud 9 because it was over and beyond just the fact of, hey, we're going to work with you and this is phenomenal. And then, you see some people from Toronto, and I'd like to think a pretty good secret holder and not one to just run around and spill OPSEC information. But it definitely made my Eve Vegas like 500 times better due to the fact that I had something to look forward to when I got back to Toronto. It was actually Iceland in 2017. So I started Eve in the late 2015, and I tinkered here and there and did some high sec running, and then my high sec corp moved to nullsec, and then from nullsec I ended up in some other random corp where just some all around horrible, bad Eve shenanigans, which I'm not going to get into, happened. And I ended up flying with Darkness with Mr. Sort Dragon and a few others. And I have nothing but positive things to say about Sort. He was phenomenal and a true gentleman to me. So I can't thank him enough for helping me start my true nullsec career. And then from there, like I'm a Diplo in game. So I move from place to place where I'm needed and go from there.
So
I
maybe
feel bad that they can hear me and not you.
That's
now
all
they
right.
just have to listen to me have a one-sided
But
conversation.
that's not really one-sided. We're here to actually get information out of you. I'm irrelevant. I'm just merely an instrument to get more info on the whole thing. People still say they can't hear me. Oh well.
Now they're laughing at you, but that's okay.
Of course. Hopefully the recording is actually going to be good. Like everything looks fine here on the levels, but this is it. We're just gonna roll with the punches.
We are, and I'm gonna rephrase your questions because that is a great idea, Wanda.
Hey, why not? So, aside from Eve stuff, like how did you get into this whole event planning business?
So other than Eve stuff, for event planning, it kind of just fell into my lap. Like I joke that I am a cat herder because I'm a trauma nurse by background.
Oh, wow.
So I'm used to keeping people organized and keeping people alive. So we had some thoughts and ideas of what we wanted to do, but I got a really good team behind me involved with. And there goes my dog. I apologize.
That's
but
all right.
yeah, but I have a really great group of guys who are working with me and who are doing nothing but phenomenal work. Like I have to give a shout out to my team leaders, as I've called them. Like I've given them a task and said, guys, okay, this is our goal. This is what we need to do. How are we going to make it happen? And they've gone above and beyond any expectations I've had in terms of making this work. Like I can't say anything but fantastic things. So like I said, cat herder. That's my ultimate role here. I give them tasks, and between they'll say, okay, I've got this information, then I'll take that information back, and then I'll go do what needs to be done with it, and then liaising between CCP and my guys. It's just been nothing but a positive experience.
Well, I mean, you're a Diplo, right? So kind of like the whole cat herding thing should come hand in hand.
Well, yeah, Diplo and cat herding, they do go hand in hand, and honestly, it's just a matter of making sure that people are happy and, Reload can talk now. Woohoo!
I fixed something. I clicked. I bashed my keyboard. It's all fine now. Great. Finally. I love troubleshooting live on stream, especially when I haven't streamed for like 2 months. Really gets me thinking about stuff.
Well, I'm glad you figured it out. I'm very happy. Having a one-sided conversation is kind of hard, but you're phenomenal, and I love talking to you.
Well, they think we're having a one-sided conversation, but trauma nurse. Any sort of cool stories you can tell? Because I'm sure you have a bunch.
There are so many stories. I don't even know where to start, and I would apologize if anybody is super squeamish in the audience.
This is perfect.
I'm gonna refrain from some of my juicier stories.
Oh, come on.
But
Real play, Eve.
Okay. People have probably heard of this one. You're in the emerge, and all of a sudden you just get this smell, and you're like, "What the hell is the smell?" So you follow your nose, which is always a horrible bad thing to happen. And it was a guy who he had a wound on his foot, and he left it and left it and left it and left it. And when we started taking the bandages off, he actually had maggots inside of this foul smelling wound. But it was the cleanest wound I've ever seen in my life. So
interesting. Did the maggots keep it clean?
They ate all the necrotic flesh, so
there you go.
It turned out well. But yeah, that's the most probably interesting one I can think of. That's not gory and keeping people's alive by like doing a cardiac massage where you're literally massaging their heart with your hand.
That's kind of scary. Right? Yeah.
It's a high pressure job, and I love doing it. I love my job. I love everything that Eve North has brought into my life. I'm sorry, Wanda.
Yeah, Wanda, that's a great name. Yeah, necrotic flesh. Get it now while it's hot.
No, it's not just Reddit. It's not. But this is what we do.
But you still kind of gear towards the Diplo side of Eve as opposed to the Logi, I'm assuming.
I'm not gonna lie. I am a hardcore Logi pilot. I love Logi. Bazzy for life, and all you Bazzy haters out there can just go do other things.
Who hates Bazzies? They're the best. You get the cap chain going.
Exactly. I love my Bazzy. I did Warp to Me for a while, and I
nice.
Bazzy, Logi's always getting to fleets faster, so that just made it logical. But I guess it's my background. I got to keep people alive.
That's right.
So, Bazzy chains. But no, I got into the Diplo side of it because I like helping people, and for me, Diploing was rewarding because you see two groups who ultimately want the same goals and aspirations in game, but it's all about how to get grown-ass men to play nice together in the sandbox.
That's almost impossible.
And I discovered I'm pretty good at it, and I haven't had many negative customers to the point where I joke I'm everywhere in Eve. I have mains in Nullsec. I have, as Charles White, Space Pope jokes, his sixth empire is full of spies.
Yeah, we're all spies.
So I got somebody over there also, as you're aware, Mr. Reload. But I go where people need the help, and it keeps my accounts happy, so it keeps me happy.
Mm-hmm. And with the Diplo side of things, I guess you kind of see a different outlook on the whole nullsec, or like even wormhole space for that matter. Because as a player, if you're just like a line member or an F1 monkey, you don't really see the chess game that actually can go on behind the scenes, and that's pretty cool. Like I would love to be a Diplo, but I think that's way too much of a investment of time that I just can't afford.
I think sometimes it can be emotionally draining, but let's be honest, like everybody's had days of their jobs where they're like, oh my god, like I'm not physically tired, I'm just mentally tired.
Right.
But it's so rewarding, which why I really, really like it, taking part in that and doing it. It's something I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, we get a lot of flack from outside in gaming community, but EVE community is actually quite cool and interesting. I got to meet so many interesting people through this game. And I guess being a Diplo, you also get to meet a lot more people in-game and get to see both their, like, screen character and then their actual personal character when you go out to these meets and go to Fanfest in Vegas. Well,
exactly. And that's one of the biggest things that drew me deeper into the game was actually after, Iceland in 2017. Like I got to meet some of the devs. Like Falcon was amazing to me. He was super super nice. And then I had heard about all of these horror stories about this evil goon leader called the Mittani, and I met him in Iceland, and he was super nice also. So I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm female and everybody's super nice, but I have nothing but positive things to say about all the people that I've met from in-game in real life. Like, okay, yes, we're heartless crooks and pirates, and we want to shoot each other in the face with lasers, but at the end of the day, like, I've seen the EVE community pull together for supporting people in like broadcast for reps, and the worst enemies at EVE meets being the best of buds. It's
Exactly.
That's what brings me to the game.
Right on. I mean, part of it, and there's some psychological research to back that up, and the game is so violent itself. We actually get all that aggression out in game, and then outside of the game, that's how we bond, Everybody's blue, whatever meetup you go to. But a funny thing about Mittani is that guy almost never breaks character. Like, every time I seen him at Fanfest, he would always, look over all the goons and everybody else, and like almost never break character. But at Vegas this year, I actually get to party with him a little bit, and he's the nicest guy possible, like you say. Yeah. Wish I could party with him more. What did you think of Vegas, by the way? That was your first Vegas this year, right?
It was my first Vegas, and I had all expectations blown away. Like, I had done Iceland, and that was pretty amazing because we had DJ Hodor, and
that's right.
I can't remember his real name. I'm sorry, I'm gonna call him DJ Hodor. But after that, and like the makeup artists, and like getting turned into my Eve character, that was pretty cool.
You did the whole works, huh?
Oh, I did the works. I did it all.
Nice.
And like, just the atmosphere of Vegas, and again, you get to meet your space friends, and everybody's blue, and it was such a great time. It's such a great time. And even like, again, this is what always brings me back, is in the community. Like, I had a really bad accident last March, and Falcon himself reached out to me, and then when I ran into him in Vegas, he was like, "I'm super stoked to see that you made it out here. I'm so glad to see that you're doing better."
That's awesome.
Like, what happens in any other video game? Like, people don't do that.
I don't think so. I think part of it is that at the MMOs are just so big that there's none of the sense of close-knit community. And aside from that, EVE is a really tough one. So we kind of weed out a lot of people that don't want to put the time into the game. So like, if you play this game for a while, you should pretty much kind of be part of this community already.
Yeah, and like I said, I can't speak anything about great things. Like, we've got so much planned for the EVE North Toronto in June. We've been working our fingers to the bone. Like, I know myself and even my team, like, there's some days we're going to work and then we're going to like venue meetings afterwards, or we're meeting in the middle of the days to have impromptu meetings with CCP, or we're meeting to test venues out for food, because we just want to make sure that this is like an overall fantastic adventure for anybody who's willing to come along for the ride for like Canada's first ever CCP event.
That's right. Sorry to interrupt your flow here, but Eric's, AEREXS, you gotta come out to our meets. We have a monthly meetup. You'll meet a lot of EVE nerds there.
We do.
Yeah, and like last time, what was that place, that awesome gaming place that we went to? Sorry, the name eludes me right now.
The Stormcrow?
Yeah, the Stormcrow. That was a great venue that we went out to last time. So Eric's, and I think that's somebody else, Banjones70. If you guys in Toronto, you gotta come out to our monthly meetups.
And speaking of monthly meetups, we're actually having 2 meetups this month for April 27th. For those of you located in Ottawa, we are taking the EVE North crew down to Ottawa to meet up with you guys, because there's a big player basis there that people really should come out and see. And then we're going to have the Toronto meet on April 28th at 2:30 at the Stormcrow Manor, again, for those that want to come out and join us. It's always a great time. It's always fun. There's stories and food and camaraderie and drinking and shenanigans. There's always shenanigans.
Always shenanigans. It's kind of like I haven't gone out to a lot of Toronto meets, unfortunately, which I want to come out to more. But if you have been to like Fanfest or Vegas, it's kind of like going to your local meet. It's kind of like the microcosm of that. So you don't get this whole thing with dev talks and all, but you still get to meet people and share war stories and share your fits and whatever have you. Just meet other people that play the game and get personal connections. And if you have a chance, definitely go out, whether it's Toronto or any other city out there if there's a meet near you.
And the other, like, as Philippe has just mentioned, like, we have a guy named Philippe. He's phenomenal. If you're on our Discord, you throw your name in a Discord, and he'll print you out like the snazziest name tag with like your character name and like your alliance logo or your corp logo or whatever you want, and all he wants is a crisp high five. So how can that go wrong?
I know. I should have left some swag here. Philippe is awesome. He creates such cool content. Like all the 3D printers. I actually have one like right here for all of you American fans out there. This is the one that I got from Philippe. That's his latest one. Yeah, he does, and I just dropped it. He does all of them, like all the logos, and he even did those 3D ships. If you check out my Twitter, I'm sure there's some pictures there of them. Philippe has been phenomenal. If you guys want to reach out to our Discord, to contact me or Ivy here at Eve North TO, and we'll send you the invite link to the Eve North Discord.
The other fun fact is the Eve North Discord link is also on Facebook. So just look up Eve North, and it's right there. You can't miss it. Yeah,
I wish I could post links here, but the the bot was not gonna like that, I don't think.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I also I brought along some of my team leaders. I'm gonna impromptu throw them on comms with us because I can't sit here and talk all the time. Like I said, my guys, they've worked tirelessly. I'm gonna throw in Apo first. He flies with NC. He's been like my right hand guy. He helped scout out venues and hotels, and I'd be like, Apo, I need this, and he'd just go off and do it and come back to me with like a full report. And I think he just needs to say hi, even though I know he doesn't want to. So let's get Apo in here.
User was moved to your channel.
Hello, Mr. Apo. Welcome to the Reload Show. I don't have a graphic for you because somebody told me, Apo said, I'm not going to go in, and you're here now. So you now are going to be the CN Tower. That's going to be the graphic for you.
Okay.
So to tell us a little bit about yourself, Apo. Just a little bit. Just enough.
Sure. I've been flying with NC for a few years. I've been playing Eve since early 2011. I've been pretty much everywhere, done pretty much everything.
2011, that's quite a span. That's 8 years.
Yeah, not too bad.
That's very good. So what do you do for our awesome Eve North? Tell us a little bit about
I handle all the stuff that that Ivy doesn't have the time to do, or she's not capable of handling. She can handle anything, but I just do some of the more administrative stuff. I'm in advanced management in school.
Oh, right,
so that's kind of what I do.
Yeah, so we're in good hands.
When he told me about that, I'm not going to lie. I was like, yep, you're coming with me.
I think I was there for that too. That was one of the Eve meets, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
He kind of got voluntold into the position, and then he's been phenomenal. And I'm also gonna yank in Mr. Matt, because he has done phenomenal work on helping us. Well, we've been teasing about a pub crawl, guys. So Mr. Matt is who you can thank, because he's done so much hard work in getting this done.
User was moved to your channel.
Mr. Matt, welcome to the Reload Show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, I just had to mute the stream there so I could follow along and know I'm actually going to get yanked down here.
You never know when it's going to happen, right?
No, life is all about surprises. So
That's right. Before we actually get into it, both Apo and Matt were the subject of my live stream. I believe that was this December meetup when Matt challenged Apo to a drink-off.
Hell yeah.
That was awesome, guys. Of course, since he did not undock, as usual.
Yeah, that was a messy night. Holy, I think I lost my keys that night. That was just my start off to a birthday later on.
I think you lost more than your keys.
Yeah, dignity, who knows? Lots of things.
So Matt,
don't worry, there's going to be a rematch at Eve North.
Oh, there better be, and I'm going to record it. I'll probably live stream it. So Matt, tell us a little bit about what do you do for Eve North?
Well, I would say I'm Eve North's alcoholic in chief, pub crawl curating designate. I live in Toronto. I was raised here, and for the past 10 years now, some friends and I have always done a pub crawl in downtown Toronto. And so, I'd look at a map, I'd use Google Maps, and I'd just drop a route, and we go to 18 different bars in the middle of the day, and get absolutely hammered.
Nice.
So I like to think I know my way around downtown Toronto. I know how to, navigate it when, you're handicapped, so to speak. And I like to think I'm familiar with a lot of the pubs and bars down there. So when we were informed that, pub crawl was in the cards, I was like, ooh, I kind of know a thing or two about that. I'm at that nice cross section between internet spaceships and a guy who likes to drink. So
I think those two go hand in hand, actually.
Yeah, I think you have to, especially when you get loaded on space work.
That's right.
But what was it? Yeah. So what I did is I went immediately to Google Maps and I looked at where the hotel was, and I'm like, okay, what looks good? What looks in the area? What looks walkable? And I had to. At first, I was planning something that may have been a bit too ambitious. Because when you're used to doing pub crawls with 18 bars, and then you got to remember, some of these people are might bring their family or not in the prime of their drinking years anymore. So okay, maybe start high and then scale it back to something reasonable for the average person. So
right on. Without telling,
I can't name any venues, but
yeah, you can name any
we're really
venues.
happy with a lot of locations all of them that we picked, and I think it's a good circuit, so to speak. So. Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to sharing that with everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So everything's in the vicinity of the hotel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's designed to be walking distance.
That's perfect. Because what I was thinking at first is that there's so many good bars in Toronto, but the city is so sprawled out at the same time. It's not like Reykjavik where you go down one street and you can capture everything you want. So I think you had a very tough job for you to actually select the best of the best in that area.
Also know about knowing where different constellations of bars are. If you're gonna approximate it to say roaming in someone else's space, you find the right drinking constellation, and
that's right.
I was able to locate one, and it's like, okay, this looks like a good spot to do our thing. So
great. Have you guys actually had a chance to check out all the pubs yourself so far? I'm talking to both Apo and Ivy here as well.
We may have done a pre-pub crawl with CCP Curtis, and I don't know if he's going to remember it very well, because I think op success is what we should say.
Recon 5.
It was a good time.
Oh man, I got a story about that. Because I don't remember leaving the last place.
You just disappeared on us. I was looking around for you. Where the hell did you go?
So what happened is that I was trying to retrace it for weeks afterwards. Is that I remember leaving going up the stairs, and then I remember waking up in the subway as TTC is kicking me out of the subway. They're like, "We're closed, get out." And then I ended up in a totally different part of town. It was -10 or something.
It was cold that night.
It was cold that night. I was not prepared. And then I just started walking north, trying to get to my house. But I was 20, 30 blocks away from where I was supposed to be. Thankfully, after 4 hours of walking, some taxi cab rolls by next to me, and they got me home. It was quite a night to remember, let me tell you that.
And this is... And this is why I was very specific with Mr. Matt and said it needs to be within stumbling distance.
I think I just, people listening, they probably won't understand this, but I caught the wrong line on the subway. I got on Union Station, but I went in the wrong direction, and then tried to, in my drunken stupor, to get back to the right one, and then completely passed out.
The IRL equivalent of the wormhole collapse.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, that was my quite an adventure when I met Curtis for the first time, and Eldritch. Both of them were there. Cool dudes, actually.
CCP Roughage and Curtis.
Roughage,
I can't
right.
again. They were just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
They were such nice guys, and with social media and the event planning and. I can't say anything but great things. Everybody that CCP hires is super nice. That's supposed to be my phrase of the day, super nice. They're such super nice people. I'm trying to, curb the content of what normally comes out of my mouth. But CCP they're phenomenal people. I can't say anything again. Same as my team leaders. Nothing but good things.
Yeah, and I mean, I love the fact that Ravage had his cell phone out the whole time. He was like Instagramming every single thing.
I think I was following suit with that. Also, we had quite a few tweets and videos go out.
So without sharing anything that's like we can't share, but what can people expect in terms of activities around Eve North?
One hell of a party.
Right on.
Yeah, how much are we allowed to talk about anything more specific than that, or right now we're still?
Well, as what I can divulge is that, as you're aware, like we are planning a pub crawl. As you saw via the Instagram and stuff. We've got a cool idea and venue set up for the Friday. We've got amazing things planned for the Saturday on top of the party at Lee's Palace. And then we've even got things planned for going into Sunday evening. We
nice.
want to make sure that anybody that comes out to Toronto has a great time.
So the whole event is supposed to be 21st to 23rd, but there's other events planned around those days, right?
So what we're thinking is for after Eve North, I want to take a whole bunch of people down to Niagara Falls. It is doable. I'm telling people for the Monday, find your way down there, but we're just gonna go do shenanigans, Niagara Falls, Clifton Hill. There's a Mario Kart track.
Oh, no way,
let's go
really?
do Mario, yeah, exactly.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like a Mario go-kart there that got created recently.
Can you still throw banana peels, or is that not allowed?
I wish.
Some inquiring minds are asking about karaoke. I don't think anything is officially planned. It might have to be, what do you call it, user created? But can you comment on that at all? Because karaoke is always popular.
I'm just gonna say there's definitely shenanigans planned for Friday.
Planned. I like that. Instead of we can comment on that, shenanigans are planned. That's, I think, a better, more interesting way to say that.
Oh, don't worry.
We hear what the public is saying. We're taking things into consideration. That's one of the things I really love about the Eve North community is I get so many messages. I have an open door policy. Never be afraid to message me on Discord, send me a ping, be like, hey, I just wanted to say hi. Whatever floats your boat. And if I can answer you, I will. If I can do my best, I always like to think that I try to go above and beyond for people, and that's just who I am.
I can vouch for that. Anytime I bug Ivy at like 1 a.m., she actually responds. That's amazing.
Maybe not for my sleep schedule, but I do like to say that I'm available for people.
So right now, Eve North is, 85% sold out, so there's still a few tickets left, correct?
Yes, we are anticipating that we are going to be sold out. So if you don't have your ticket yet, guys, we're not going to be putting out any more, is my understanding. So don't be that guy who shows up at the door and like, please, sir, because I don't want to have to be a bad guy and say no.
But at the very least, if you show up and there's no tickets, you can always go out to the pubs with us, right?
This is very true. Like I said, we are 85% sold out. We are anticipating to be sold out. So like for the first major event that Eve North is holding other than our monthly meetups, this is phenomenal. We're seeing the numbers come back to the meets. I know when I first came out, I'm laughing at Dirk because that is funny. When I first started coming out to the meets, they were small. There was only 5-6 people coming out, and now we're seeing like 37 to 44. Like the numbers are definitely multiplying, and I'm hoping that as it gets closer to Eve North, we've got a couple of ideas planned for what we want to do for April. Like I said, we're going to go to Ottawa because like the Ottawa people matter too. And then after Eve North, we're gonna take Eve North on the road to like Hamilton Way or Niagara Way because some players can't physically drive or travel to the meets, and I want to make the meets accessible for those who can't come because I think that's important. I think people need to know that. Like, we hear what you're saying, we're taking it into consideration, and we're doing our best to see how we can fit you guys in also. But, yeah, we've got so much Yellowknife. What the heck, Dirk?
Hey, why not? Why not? But yeah, like I started going to Eve Toronto meets about 2 years ago, and yeah, like you said, at first it was about 5 people, which is I thought was kind of cool actually, because it's a much smaller setting. You personally get to know people and talk about it. But now we can't go to our regular place anymore because they don't have enough tables. We have to find a new venue for us to do our monthly meetups at, and that's great. I actually love it because you get to meet so many more local people that play the game. All of a sudden, everybody comes out of woodwork and. Being Eve North, that everybody from across the world will actually come and see us, and I think that's a great thing. I was blown away when Guard announced that it's coming to Toronto at Vegas. I was like, "There's no way this is going to happen," but it did, and that's good. Can you tell us anything about the venue itself, Ivy? The hotel? Have you checked it out?
So we, and by we, I mean me and Apo, we went and we physically saw the Delta. It is a gorgeous hotel, and I apologize to everybody, but it's fantastic. It is gorgeous. It blew all my expectations. It met all the requirements and criteria that we were looking for in a venue. We wanted to have somewhere where, again, people could drink but stumble safely to their rooms. And the fact that it was in such close proximity to everything like Union Station, the CN Tower, the bars, it in my logical nursing brain was like, well, this is a safe idea for people. But like the Delta, it's they've been accommodating, they've been working with us, and I've got nothing but good things. So if you don't have a hotel room, guys, like book at the Delta. You're not gonna regret staying there. We did a whiskey bar.
Whiskey bar,
Amazing.
nice.
Giggity.
I think Apo and Rafich and Curtis actually got to check it out a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, we checked it out thoroughly.
Did you taste test everything there is to taste test there?
I think they tried.
That would take like a week.
Wow, that's a big whiskey bar then.
It's really, really nice.
So I think I now know where Dirk is going to spend most of his time. Right down there.
Yeah, the location could not be more perfect. It's actually like perfectly central to everything. And for those of you, well, most of you coming out of town, you can get from Union Station, the main transit hub, to the hotel without ever actually seeing daylight. There's an underground path, which will be really popular for EVE players who are used to not seeing daylight.
The basement in darkness, yeah.
Yeah.
The good thing is, though, it's going to be in the summer, so unlike in Reykjavik's cold weather, hopefully we're going to get some nice summer weather to enjoy. Plus it's going to be Pride festivities, right? The weekend after, so it's already starting the weekend before.
No, it's the same weekend. I think.
Same weekend. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
so you'll get a lot of rainbows in your weather.
It's definitely something that we took into consideration when we were choosing the dates for the venue. We wanted time in Toronto where the weather was going to be nice, but it wasn't going to be that muggy, sticky, gross, hot that we know. And we were talking with dates with the Delta, and originally it was like, oh well, how about this day? How about this day? And we were like, well, we really wanted the weekend of the 21st, 23rd, without at first realizing that Pride was going on at the same time, because we thought it was the weekend before. And then they came back, they're like, well, that's Pride. And we're like, well, they're like, well, what about August? And CCP was like, well, what about August? And I'm like, no, Toronto in August will be bad. Will be really bad. It's just gonna be gross. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be sticky. It's gonna be muggy. There's gonna be like air advisory. It's not a fun place to be. Toronto in August.
Yeah.
But we figured with all the extra parties going on with Pride, there's gonna be something for everybody. And I'm also telling people, like, there's the City Pass Toronto. You can get into all the major attractions for like dirt cheap. And if you're bringing your spouse, your missus or your mister or your children, and you want something fun to do in Toronto while this is going on, well, there's going to be Pride, so Toronto's going to be crazy. But there's the ROM, there's the CN Tower, there's the Ripley's Aquarium. There's so much to do, which is ultimately why I'm so glad that we're able to show you guys why we've been wanting to do this.
And a lot of attractions like the CN Tower, the Ripley's Aquarium, are actually in the walking distance from the hotel. So you don't have
They're right across the street.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about transportation at all. There's so much to see right in that core. All right. anything else you can offer us in terms of information? So people can join our Discord at the Eve North. Do we still have a call for volunteers, or has that been closed already?
Right now, I am not accepting any more volunteers. I still have a massive list to go through. But pay attention to the Discord, pay attention to the Twitter. If I do feel that, hey, we need some more people, I will put out another call. And like the Eve community, they've stepped up. I think right now, unfortunately, I have more volunteers than I know what to do with. So
It's one of the
that's a
good
thing,
problems. Yeah.
And also, if anybody's interested in doing a player presentation or panel, just poke me on the Discord, and I'll take your information, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and we'll start making some decisions. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, April.
And just to ban Jones in the chat there, I already checked the Blue Jays schedule. If you're getting in on Thursday night, they'll be hosting Los Angeles for the entire weekend. They're playing away games.
All right, there goes some inside information there as well. Well, that's excellent news. So Eve North, June 21st to 23rd, lots of events planned in and around those dates. Come one, come all. We are 85% sold out right now, still 15% to go. And as Ivy said, this event is expected to sell out. It's going to be a great party. How did you call yourself, Matt? Alcoholic in chief, or
Something like that.
something like that. Has tried all the pubs. The pub crawl is going to be crazy, but still within safe stumbling distance to the hotel, which I am actually very happy about.
We don't want you getting lost.
Because Toronto is actually a very big city. If you get lost, you kind of might be in trouble.
Yeah, you would know.
Yes, and surprisingly, I still got home at like 4 a.m. and had to go to work the next day. It was an interesting night, to say the least. But yeah, I think if you follow Eve's Eve Online's Instagram, you might see a little bit of behind the scenes. The CCP Roughage was filming here and there, so you can get a bit of a sneak peek at that. And I think with that, I would love to thank Ivy, Matt, Apo, and Tim for joining us to talk about Eve North. And you guys have any other closing statements about this event?
I just want to say thank you so much for having us on your show.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to see you. You're definitely somebody I enjoy seeing at the meets, and I am looking forward to everybody coming in June. You guys have blown my expectations for anything out of the water, and I find it very humbling to see that I'm trying my darndest to put on this party for a bunch of Eve nerds, and the reactions are nothing but positive. Which it makes me so happy because like you guys are coming to my event. I'm so happy.
Eve nerds love to party. That's one thing I learned from three Fanfests in Vegas. It's non-stop partying. That's for sure. Dirk is asking when the tickets will go for sale. Do we know that info yet or not? No.
They're not for sale yet. I will tweet when they go up so people aren't caught unaware.
Yes.
This is for the pub crawl, not for Eve North.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, Dirk. We'll save one for you.
Aiko will pick one up for you.
We got you, bro.
I just want to point out, looking at the chat, Dirk, you sound like my kind of guy. I'm really excited to host a lot of you. All of you.
Well, you know, for like a team leader position, I'm like pub crawl. I'm like, okay, who's the resident alcoholic at the meets? Matt, come talk to me.
Actually, yeah, Matt, I think you and Dirk will get along quite well. Knowing both of your personalities, you guys are gonna have a great time.
I get to have a new chug off, buddy.
All right. Well, guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us. And please, everybody watching right now, go check out at Eve North TO on Twitter, as well as you can search for Toronto Eve Online on Facebook. And you can join our Discord, the link to which I will post in the description of the video once I upload it, as well as actually going to put it in chat right at this time. And before we close, Ivy, when is our next Eve Toronto meet? I'm going to plug that right here.
So like I said, Ottawa is going to be April 27th. The location and time is not been 100% announced yet. I'm still working out the fine tunings of that, so I do apologize for the last minuteness. But for the Toronto people, it is going to be April 28th. at Stormcrow Manor at 2:30 because it's Sunday and people want to do Game of Thrones later on in the evening. So let's get you home in a good time and you can enjoy your time.
And yeah, I can't recommend Stonecrow enough. I've been there once. It's a fantastic place for gamers. It's amazing. Cool decor. Very nice people there as well. Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching. It was a pleasure. So stay tuned for more information from Ivy and the Eve North crew, because more stuff will be posted as we get closer to the date. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh.
Greetings, Capsuleer. Destination has been set, and Sino is green. Get ready for Eve North. Waterfront active.